Tuen Mun Road, Hong Kong. Originally built in 1977, the Tuen Mun Expressway has experienced many changes and expansions through the years to handle the increased vehicle population. It's definitely one of the more diverse roads on this list, as it constantly changes from 2 to 5 lanes, from city to coastline, and has speeds ranging from 50 to 80. Even today, plans are being made to make this road more efficient and less dangerous. It's one of the most heavily used roads in Hong Kong and definitely has the most speculation around it. This road has been home to many infamous accidents, such as a bus accident that left dozens dead and injured, as well as a bursting tire that held up traffic for 3 hours. The most dangerous part of this road, according to locals, is that it's haunted. It's said that the ghosts of people who died on the road haunt it to this day, causing other drivers to suffer the same fate. Many drivers who have crashed on the Tuen Mun say that the accident was caused by trying to avoid hitting a ghost. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, a lot of drivers have reported similar visions, though it could just be a popular excuse to get out of trouble. The fact that the road is under constant construction and the relatively low death toll give this road a 10 on this list. Highway 80, Highway of Death, Iraq. Highway 80, also known as the Highway of Death, is a 6-lane highway that connects Kuwait City to Basra, Iraq. Iraqi soldiers used this road for their armored divisions during the invasion of Kuwait in 1990. However, this road is most renowned for the massive attack launched by American and Canadian forces against Iraqi military attempting to flee Kuwait in 1991. This resulted in hundreds of deaths and thousands of vehicles being destroyed or abandoned. Since there was no reason to clean up the mess, Highway 80 was filled with battered vehicles for years, a monument to the attack that once happened there. People report that there are bodies everywhere along the highway, whether it be face down in the dirt, beside the road, or directly on the concrete. There's also a long, unbroken line of cars that some dubbed as the Mile of Death. The highway is known as one of the most recognizable images of war and has even been referenced many times in popular culture. The Highway of Death can be seen in the 2010 video game Splinter Cell Conviction, during a flashback mission where the player takes control of Victor Coste, attempting to save the protagonist Sam Fisher from captivity. Though not all too dangerous anymore, the deaths that occurred and the history tied to it earns it this place on the list. Interstate 15, America. Built in 1957. Interstate 15 is a major interstate highway that starts near the Mexican border and ends in Alberta, Canada. Its total recorded length is 1,433 miles, or 2,307 kilometers. With a road so long and so old, it's not surprising that it's seen so much death. The most dangerous section of this road is the stretch between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. During a 15-year study, 1,069 people died in 834 accidents. Since this study only accounted for 15 of the 59 years the road has been in operation, the total death count is likely much higher. With that being said, the road cannot be completely blamed for this. Studies show that most accidents and deaths are because of drivers. More than half of the drivers involved in accidents weren't wearing seatbelts. A third of the collisions were a result of speeding, and a quarter of them involved a drunk driver. Very few deaths were actually caused by the road's design or condition. So even though this may have one of the highest death tolls on this list, the road itself can't be considered dangerous when compared to others. Widowmaker UK. Widowmaker Road, or Route A537, is a road that leads from Macclesfield in Cheshire to Buxton in Derbyshire. Though most famously known as Widowmaker, this road is locally known as the Cat and Fiddle Road. Widowmaker is listed as one of Britain's most dangerous roads, and for good reason. The most dangerous section of this road is known as the Peak District, which forces drivers to face severe bends, steep falls, and be in close proximity to stone walls and rock faces throughout their entire drive. You'd think that the road would be especially dangerous when weather is acting up, but studies show that most deaths occur during sunny days with no weather hazards. Most of the drivers who take this road are heavy-duty vehicles, motorcyclists, and curious tourists. Between 2003 and 2008, the fatal collisions that occurred on the Widowmaker Road jumped by 127%. Unfortunately, a large majority of those deaths were non-local motorcyclists. So, if you plan on visiting this infamous road, Try to avoid riding a motorcycle. BR116 Brazil. BR116 is a 2,700-mile federal highway that leads through the coast of the country. It's recorded as the second longest highway in Brazil, going from the very north of Brazil down to the very south. Luckily, it's an asphalted road. Well, mostly. Some of this road runs along the edges of cliff, baiting drivers to slip up and become a victim. If that was dangerous enough, it's constantly hit by weather hazards typical to the region, making the already dangerous cliffs all the more deadly. Despite that danger, it's still one of the most important highways in the country. BR116 has a very high concentration of truckers, which is one of the reasons that it's so dangerous. Truckers in Brazil are often overworked, stressed, tired, or under the influence of some sort of drug to keep their eyes open. Because of the layout, drivers need to keep an eye on the road at all times. Bends are sharp, and in an instant, two cars can be headed right into each other. Because of this, most drivers tend to slow down to around 30 kilometers an hour so as to keep themselves safe. Believe it or not, the danger of BR116 isn't even the road's true taint. That dishonor lies in the fact that the BR116 has the highest count of sexual exploitation of children in the world. Statistics show that a child is sold for sex almost every 10 miles. Not only is it a dangerous road for drivers, it is also home to the underage sex trade. This is a road best avoided altogether. Zojila, India. Zojila, also known as Zozila or Zojila, is the link between Ladakh and Kashmir, India. The road's about 9 kilometers long and rests about 3,500 meters above sea level. During the entire drive along the pass, there is no barrier between you and the deep drop, which can mess with drivers' heads. The terrain of the road switches between dirt-covered asphalt to rocky mountain sides. During storms and even after, the road is considered undrivable, and only those who are truly desperate or foolhardy will be seen driving on it. The winter months cause the complete closure of the road due to its danger, though steps are being taken to make the road usable all year round. Trying to clear the road is no easy task, as it can take the Border Road Organization, the ones responsible for the usability of this road, up to 2 months to clear it out after a heavy snowfall. During that time, it's closed off entirely. Though extremely dangerous, this road is basically a lifeline that keeps Ladakh in touch with the rest of the world. It's a shame that that lifeline is so dangerous, but at least someone is working on it. Kabul to Jalalabad Highway, Afghanistan. Not having any special name, the highway between Kabul and Jalalabad is also considered one of the most dangerous roads in the world. Built in 1969, the road was at one time paved, making it safer. Over the years and the violent history it's known for, the most dangerous parts are not but simple gravel now. This two-laned road runs along 600-meter-high unrailed cliffs, which alone makes it quite dangerous. The road constantly changes from uphill to downhill and has many twists and turns. Being only a two-lane road, traffic is almost always backed up, making drivers impatient and reckless. At some point, stopped cars could be partially hanging off the side, putting any sane driver on edge. Some accidents are caused when heavy trucks are not able to go uphill and impatient drivers attempt to pass the truck only to be hit from a car in the opposite lane. Since it's such a crowded and tight road, this one collision quickly leads to a major accident. During harsher weather, the road is sometimes closed for driver safety. Despite the closure, the road is still used for humanitarian aid, reconstruction efforts, trade, and returning Afghan refugees regardless of weather. All that said, there is no denying what a beautiful sight the road is. You know, if you ignore the flattened cars and toppled trucks that remind everyone of how dangerous this place can be. Nangat Parbit Pass, Pakistan. Situated in the Gilgit-Baltistan region of Pakistan, this 16-kilometer road spans along the mountainside. The road starts on the Karakoram Highway and ends in Tato, a village near Ferry Meadows. The most dangerous part is the Ferry Meadows portion of the road, which was built hundreds of years ago. The road has not undergone any maintenance over the years, which means any deterioration on the already dangerous road just raises the danger level. Along with that, it's not a very wide road either, only being about the width of a single Jeep, and proceeds to get narrower to the point where no vehicle can proceed. On top of that, there are no guardrails to protect you from the steep drop. Not only is the road dangerous, but the location doesn't help, as both rock and snow avalanches are a constant risk. Luckily, most regular drivers don't have to trek across this road, as it only leads to a mountain path. Unless you love mountain climbing, it's unlikely you'll ever have to risk using this road. Cotopaxi Volcano Road, Ecuador. Cotopaxi Volcano is the second highest active volcano in the world, so it can be a popular tourist site. However, the volcano isn't the only or even most dangerous thing about that road. Cotopaxi Volcano Road spans 25 miles and leads to Cotopaxi National Park. The first risk and almost a requirement for this list now is that the road isn't well paved, and potholes are a not uncommon sight. Now combine that with the unusually dense fog common to the area, and it makes for a nasty surprise for unwary tourists. Not only that, but the smallest amount of rain can cause a flash flood, which is often fatal to anyone who happens to be driving on the road at that time. Luckily, there are stone guardrails around some bends. However, those same places are also possible avalanche locations, which can actually trap drivers between the guardrail and the falling rocks. Did we also mention there's an active volcano nearby? Yeah, probably not the safest place to be, but a chance to see a landmark like this just might be worth it. Despite the danger, it's a hot tourist spot. Death Road, Bolivia. With a nickname like Death Road, how can it not be on this list? Death Road, or Youngest Road, is a 56-kilometer road leading from Coroico to La Paz. It's been known as the most dangerous road in the world for years, and it's a well-deserved title. This narrow road leads through flora-filled mountainsides that reach heights of up to 4,650 meters high. The path then winds itself around the mountain while giving drivers a perfectly clear view of the terrifying chasm which drops to their left. Some of the drops are nearly 1,000 feet. Despite being a two-way road, the road can really only fit one car. So when two cars pass each other, the one descending must give the right of way, pulling closer to the edge. Most of the path is muddy and unstable, which factors in the many cars that plummet into the abyss each year. To add to the danger, fog also pops up every once in a while, making the already treacherous road even worse. Most drivers just pull over and wait it out, which is the smartest thing to do. Around 300 people die on this road each year. Little crosses are even placed to mark where the people have perished. Luckily, nobody has to take this road anymore, as in the 1990s, an alternative highway was built to avoid the notorious road. Nowadays, it's only ever used for idiots, tourists, who are interested in seeing the killer road.